How's blue Gatorade there, Matt?
Very blue.
Very blue.
Yeah.
Like your wallet after shopping at our sponsor, Johnson Plastics Plus. Ooh. Like that. Up to 15% off everything in the store.
If only there was a code like YLR-ZDF that people could type in and not feel blue like
if only. But don't type that code into anything. It doesn't work. It definitely doesn't save you 15% off almost everything in the store. So.
Oh man.
Or does it?
Be brave.
Or does it? You may have to add something to your cart and add the code to find out.
Except for merchandise that is full. Like
what's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Laser Source podcast, the number one podcast. If you like your ads first, get them out of the way. No, I'm just kidding. We're very grateful to our sponsor, Johnson Plastics Plus, who helps make this show possible. If you didn't see it last week, we interviewed Aaron Stout from Johnson Plastics Plus. I thought it was a good episode. Pretty low on the turnout scale. I get it. It's our sponsor, but he's actually a super knowledgeable dude, and we had a really interesting conversation. So I'd encourage you to go listen to that if you haven't already. How are you guys doing?
Just hanging.
Nice.
I am tired. I was just telling you about that before. I had a crazy busy week last week that I was telling you about before the show with, I think, Aaron. Because Aaron was like, so what kind of stuff do you guys do? And we were getting into it. And but the good news is all the trophies got delivered. Everything looked good. Customers are happy. So one more successful rush season at the end there. And I always say I'm not going to take stuff, but sometimes it's just so easy. But then 5 things come in at once and you're just God. So whatever. It's just one of those things. It was good because just got it done.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I have been doing a ton of shit too. I have, tomorrow we have an episode coming out, the Bigfoot episode I keep talking about. That releases tomorrow. I finished it today. And by finished it, I don't mean it's done, but I have a couple things left to add. I mean it's done. It's ready to go live.
Before 5 p.m. tomorrow it'll be up.
Yeah, dude, the only thing I'm waiting on now is the algorithm. I just can't post it right now because if I post it right now, YouTube will punish me, and I don't want to get a spanking from them. So I'm going to wait until the morning, and then that's going to go live. So we cut a 6.5 foot tall Yeti, Bigfoot. I think it's a Bigfoot, out of an 8 foot by 4 foot sheet of plywood using the Mirror 9, which only has a 3 foot by 2 foot bed. So
no pass through.
With no pass through. It's an interesting episode. Obviously, spoilers, we do it in pieces because the guy only needs it basically to be a stencil. So he's going to trace it and then cut by hand out of his own wood that he has. But he wanted the stencil. So It's a good episode. Yeah.
Is the guy's name Reese?
No, it's Chewy.
Okay. Just I wanted to make sure it wasn't Reese's Pieces, but Reese's Pieces are Chewy, so
that would be a good one. Yeah. Nice.
Solid. We made it. We made the connection. So
no. Also
welcome to the show, everybody.
Yeah, also Rhiannon and I finally did the unboxing for the 3D scanner.
Ooh.
So that's kind of fun. We don't use it a ton, but we use it enough to get a feel for it. It's cool, dude. It's undeniably cool.
I feel like that opens up a lot of opportunities if and when you get I feel like you gotta play with that to understand this. It's all the other, because the software, the hardware is easy.
Yeah.
To scan, but then the software part. So what have you guys?
It's not even that the hardware is easy because I feel like that's where I need the most practice. I feel like I get the software. But just knowing which way, when you make the scanner unhappy by doing a thing, knowing how to move your body or the part to make it happy again is definitely something that's going to come with practice. That's not an out of the gate thing. So I don't know. I feel bad putting this up, but I'm putting it up as an unboxing and not a review because I don't feel technically skilled enough to review it. Who the fuck am I? So, I'll give my opinion about it. I think things cool as shit, and I say as much in the episode, but that is completely uncut, so that needs to be edited. And then Rhiannon is most of the way. I'm 100% hands off on this, but she's most of the way through filming the ultimate guide to engraving bamboo. So that's similar to our other Ultimate Guide series that we've done. The mostly revolving around Johnson Plastics Plus materials, just because that's what I have piles of around the shop, not for any other particular reason. It's not a sponsored series or anything like that, but that should be really interesting. She did a UV coaster today on a bamboo coaster that was a 55-minute run for one coaster, but it looks super good. It's super clean. So I was like, you can include it. Dude, she has, so she's doing what I've done in previous episodes, and she is giving options, right? So there's like
here's ideal, here's like looks nice, and then here's like you got to get a bunch of them.
Yeah, and it does look very, very good. I told her today, I was like, no one on this planet is going to spend 55 minutes on one coaster. Like, if you're charging by the hour, that's a $150 coaster, so it's like, I don't know, but I told her to include it anyway. You never know, so she was just doing UV today.
Well, and the other thing too is like that's where a lot of times, like when we figure out settings and you talk about that whole like burn to learn idea, like you can start somewhere, and then from that you with your machine, if you've got a 10 watt or a 15 watt, like a lot of people are starting to get, you could take those as a starting point. And
yeah, but Rhiannon's still learning too. Like, one of the things was like, I was like, did you run flood fill on this? Right? Because obviously for something like that, you need to run flood fill. And she's like, no, I didn't really like how it looked. And then she showed me the one she did with flood fill, and it was like a starfish that was like this big on the thing. And I was like, you can't go by that. Like, you have to run this again with flood fill. So just like little things like that, that I think we'll be able to like clean up and optimize over time. That stuff will find its way into the parameter library, since we have a UV parameter library now. But yeah, she's been doing really good on it. One of the last ones she has to do is the fiber. And she asked me, like, should I even bother? And I was like, you can try. We do have a MOPA, so maybe we'll strike something in the MOPA by like dropping that pulse width way low or bring it up super high.
Oh, well, yeah, you did.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know. So I told her she could spend a day basically like trying to figure it, because if you can nail something decent, I feel like a day was a good investment.
Who knows? Maybe we'll get bamboozled.
Yeah, maybe you will get bamboozled. Maybe you'll get a setting, maybe you won't. Nobody knows. So yeah, that's what's going on at the shop. Just lots of edits right now, ton of edits, a lot of video footage to go through, blah blah blah. You guys know the shtick. I feel like we haven't posted a ton of episodes lately because I've been working kind of equally on like 4 different projects. So they're all advancing at the same rate, and they're all going to be like done at the same time. And it's always my fault because I always drop them all at once, and I should be spacing them out. So I'll try to be better about that this time. But at any rate, you guys do get the Bigfoot episode tomorrow morning. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Should be around 10 o'clock, I think, is our good time, our green time.
So that means you got a UV, you got a bamboo, you got the Yeti
3D scanner.
3D scanner. There it is. Okay.
Yep.
I was like sitting here. I'm like, wait, did he really just go like 4 feet?
I feel like there's another video that I'm not thinking of too. That I don't know. I have to look at the edit folder. I don't have it in front of me right now. I'm in my living room. But yeah, so that's what's going on over here. Matt, do you want to say hi to everybody in chat real quick?
Yeah, man, let's go. I was literally just looking at it. So we got Cuban Cracked was first today. Wow. Just for a second, because he's always like first, but he's third. So
indeed.
Or 70th. And he's like first, 70th. So Engraved Dream says Cuban cheated. I'm actually first.
Nice.
Smokes is there. Yeah.
How does one cheat in the arriving on time?
If only we knew the magic that they do to get on here. We don't understand YouTube. You got Gulf Coast Laser Engraving. Richie, I think, is what's going on there. It looks like it's Richie. Yeah, it
Love
is.
Richie.
You got Jack in the Shop. We got Lara. She said, I think I'm first or fourth, whatever. You got Jack Bronson. Let's see. We got, oh my goodness, you in there. Hey, you. Let's see. We've got Kathy Devers, Reed Olson, Jim Hamilton. We got Rotobus. Hey, what's going on, Jason?
What's up, Jason?
Resin Dragon. And she's really excited because she downloaded the she downloaded the 60 watt, and she said it's working great. Let's see. I said we got
a note about that.
Yeah.
Just because I like Cheryl and I want to throw an extra tip out.
Hi, Cheryl.
The libraries, especially, so that library was built originally a long time ago using a 30-watt fiber that wasn't a MOPA. So one, if anything doesn't behave the way you expect, make sure that the library has the pulse width set to 200 or as close as you can get to on your source. A lot of times, I think Kyle went through in the past and actually cleaned that up to make sure they were all right. But sometimes things get weird or messed up or whatever. Make sure you check that. The second thing is that the formulas we use to convert those settings, especially to higher powers, tend to convert a little low on the power side of things. So if you are going from 30, which was the original library, to a 60-watt version of that library, your powers are going to be a little low. It might have reduced the power from the original like 50% to like 25%, but really you need to be at like 30 to 35%. So if it ever feels like you're not getting what you paid for out of the library, it doesn't seem like it's doing anything, right? There isn't the reactivity that you're looking for. It's okay to bump the power up there a little bit because they do tend to trend on the lower end of things, which was an accident, but yeah, they're conservative. It was an accident, but it has been left that way by design because you can always add more power, but you can't take it away, right? If you drop too much power on something and it gets ruined, whatever. So just slowly increase until you're getting the results you were expecting. You don't really have that problem with speed or frequency, which doesn't really convert. Speed is not really an issue. All the calculations are good there. So it's really just like a power thing, and it is something you want to keep an eye on. So I just want to throw that. I feel like I've typed that 80 million times. I've never actually like said it on the channel with my voice. So there's that. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. I was going to say one of the things I found out too is like with brass, like there's certain brasses too that I actually had to lower the power because it was actually too much. So like play with it, like whatever you get, play with it. Because like for me, for these nameplates that I do all the time for the badges that people wear, you know, I found it was like I think it was like at 90 power for the black brass deep engrave, and I think I lowered it down to 80, and I just got a lot cleaner, you know, look. And there was less depth taken out, which honestly on these really shallow engraved plates, you know,
the three of us have always said for as long as I can remember that the parameter libraries are there to get you 80% of the way
in the ballpark.
You still have to walk 20% yourself. Every single laser is different. They're always going to behave differently. So everything in there should be fine tuned. You should never look at any of that stuff and be like, good enough, and like move on. Like spend a couple hours at the very least, even if it's a setting that you're happy with and that's doing what you want, to see what happens if you wiggle the numbers around a little bit. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
You got to move your body right to get it to work good. I think that's what you said earlier, right?
Indeed. Yeah.
All
Precisely.
Right. Anyways, I'm pretty sure you were talking about that the shiny objects. But yeah, we got Apple Air USA, which is also Jason. That's his other company. You got Sean at Go Savvy Designs. We got, let's see, Cheryl was just saying how the steel, she was really excited. I mean, I'll put it on there later, but she was just saying how it worked on tool steel for the black and white setting. That's like super, super good. Let's see, there was somebody else. We got Bunny Washer. Got M. DeMarco is here. What's going on? David Mason Sr. coming at us from Alabama. We got a bunch of people in there. It's awesome. And then I think that's everybody. And then there's you and Kyle and Miranda. Hey.
Cool. Hi. Let's just start with Bronson here because I do have something new that I want to show you guys that I think you'll find really interesting. But before we do that, it looks like Bronson has a question. I want to prioritize the live ones. So let's take a look at Mr. Bronson over here. What laser should I get next? I got a CO2 gantry and X-Tool F1 Ultra. Should I get an actual fiber, CO2 Galvo, or UV? I'm getting good size of money coming in and could afford any of those in the, and I'm assuming that says, up there it is, next couple months. So that's from Bronson. My opinion, dude, if you want to do more hardcore work than the F1 Ultra is allowing you to do with metals, get the fiber. If you want to expand the library of materials you have access to, get the UV. I think the CO2 Galvo should be the last machine that you get unless you're doing a billion tumblers a week or whatever. Matt can talk more about that. He paid his machine off super quick. But unless you've already got that demand, I would probably focus on expanding your fiber capabilities or increasing the size of your material library you have access to. That's my opinion. What do you think, Matt?
So my opinion, since you're basically running like a working shop and you have customers who are repeatedly coming back to you and you're working with your college, find out what products they want. That'd be what I do. I would literally go there with a website, like go take them. If you're using JP Plus, awesome. If you're using JDS, if you're using whatever, Marco's trophies, whoever, take some of that stuff there and say, hey, I'd like to start getting some future orders in place because of all of the shipping issues that are going on and whatnot, because it could be an issue. It also might not be, but whatever. Tell them whatever you come up with or whatever you think is fair for them to hear. But say, here's the things that I need to, I'd like to, see what you guys are looking for. What do you need? And from there, kind of like Alex said, the reason I got my UV is because I had $6,500 bill for the UV and I got a $3,000 order before I got the UV. And so basically by getting 2,000 of that 3,000, I was able to just pretty much put it on the credit card, drop a third of the thing right there, finished it, got the other 1,000 in my pocket. And then you're able to basically have 50% of your machine paid off upon arrival, right? So that would be my suggestion. But I agree, if you're working a ton with metal, and then the fiber would give you a way larger workspace. UV would give you the versatility to kind of do more stuff, but also you don't want to do too much too quick, because that's what I'm saying. If you have too many products, too many things, and it's just you, I think Alex talked about that a long time ago too, is like you just get wound up. So UV opens up a whole new world, is kind of what Resin is saying. But again, it's also just like, what is it you're trying to do? Like, what's going to make you money, not what else can you just have?
Yeah, sure. If you get a UV, you could probably like mark some ABS safely with some practice and research. But if nobody wants that marked, then that investment isn't going to give you an ROI. So,
yeah. The other thing too is, like, if your college decides they need more exposure for you for their sports programs, maybe you do trophies or placards or like achievements that people in the school do, and they want glass or something like that, then a UV would be great. So yeah.
I will say,
prioritize your customer base.
Yeah, I will say, I see what Jason said down there. UV does everything well. If you are just looking for a machine that can do more and you've got the money, a 10-watt UV, which is bigger than anything that I think any of us have. I mean, honestly, you'd have the larger bed space, you'd have the versatility, and the only thing is speed, right? You kind of lose speed, but with 10 watts, you do get more speed. So it's like,
I was going to bring up the triangle, the fast,
right,
cheap, or good, right? The UV does everything good, but it doesn't do anything fast. So there's definitely like a balancing act that needs to be played. And it's very cool that it does everything super well, but there is a time factor involved in that too, both in the runtime it takes to complete jobs and also in the lifetime of the laser, which is the 10th of other, laser types. So there's definitely multiple things at play there. Just because it does everything well doesn't mean that it's the best tool for the job. I'm not an anti-UV guy. I think my UV laser is my favorite laser. I'm right there with you guys. It's super exciting, but there's a time and a place for everything, and you have to keep that in mind when you're factoring what you need.
Yeah, my thing too is like, I'm looking, he said, Bronson said, I'm looking more towards glass, acrylic, awards, and like baseballs, volleyballs, footballs. So my problem is, you're like, I want to do everything, is what you just answered. So like, see what's going to make you the most money, because how many people are going to want volleyballs? That's that's a niche, right? How many people want footballs? More, but like how often? It's only during the fall. Awards are all year round. So that's where you could look at glasses. People need those for restaurants. People need those like donors when they come to the school. I know that at USF, where I went to school, they have like a donors dinner every time. and you can make really good money on glass all the time. Acrylic is not going to do great, but yeah. So he's saying UV's our go-to laser, pretty much anything that comes to the door, then fiber. Yeah. So it's up to you. I mean, look around, talk to some people, go into different groups and say, hey, I'm looking. But I can tell you with the awards that I do, I usually use the FlexiBrass or this stuff right here, like, you know, the acrylic, that's the two-tone acrylic. And basically that I knock those out with CO2 so fast, but the UV could do that just as well. So
yeah, and Bunny Washer also mentioned that the UV marks 3D prints very fast, and that's fair. It does do plastics very quickly because plastics don't require a lot of power. I was thinking more like traditional materials when I was saying that. But if you intend to only do plastics, asterisk at your own risk, the UV can be an excellent choice. So
yeah, there you go.
Like I said, every tool's got a job, man. Every tool's got a job.
Okay, that was a good question.
Okay. What else do we have in starred? Let's see. Laura says Kyle has gone to hair club for men.
Kyle, did you do something different with your hair? I don't see it.
Yeah, you know, just a brush up, you know.
Reed asks, will this be recorded? Yes, always. You can find the recent episodes in our live playlist. So we have a playlist on the channel called Live, and that's like all the most recent episodes. And then all of the episodes actually get edited and republished to the official podcast playlist on the channel and all of your favorite podcast hosts web-wide. So there's tons of places to listen to the show, and absolutely it is recorded.
By the way, if you would smash the like right now, if you haven't yet, that'd be great, because then more people will see it. People will find it, and there you go.
M. DeMarco says, settings for a Raycus should work for a JPT so long as the wattage is the same, right? There are a few things that need to be the same. You have to consider the wattage, definitely, but you also have to consider your optics. So your lens is going to play a huge role in your settings. Your scan speed is going to play a huge role in your settings. And then the other thing that you really need to pay attention to is your pulse width, even on non-MOPA lasers. Generally, and Kyle will correct me if I'm wrong because this is pretty technical, but generally the JPT sources sit around 200 nanosecond pulse widths, and the Raycus tend to sit at like 150 to 180. Sorry, Kyle?
Way lower.
Way lower.
So Raycuses are generally between 90 and 130, and they're
nanosecond pulse width?
Yeah, and they're frequency locked. So you can't adjust them manually, right? On a non-MOPA source from Raycus.
Yeah.
It's all based on the frequency you set. So a lower frequency is going to have a lower pulse width. Lower pulse width, I believe. Mm-hmm. All things being equal, lens, wattage, all that, you're probably to get a similar mark, especially on a source that is on for example, like a 50 watt Raycus, right? Versus a 50 watt LP from JPT.
Yeah.
You're going to have to increase the power on the Raycus in order to compensate for the lower pulse width, probably. To get an equivalent or similar mark. So if you're switching to a JPT from a Raycus, you are probably going to want to adjust the power down, or else you may overcook things a little more than you're planning on.
Good to know. That's an important note. So yeah, that was the crux of what I was getting to. Kyle is smarter than me though, so he got to the answer faster. So
no.
Hopefully that helps. Here's something I'm interested in. G. Smith asks, what do you think of the Excel laser? I saw Michael Mullins posted a video about this, but I have no idea what it does or why it's like the trending thing right now. Do you guys know anything about this? Have you read about it yet?
I do.
Tell me.
So it's basically, from my understanding of it, it is essentially a galvo mounted to a gantry.
A mount.
It's also apparently going to be integrated with light burn control.
I might be back in. It depends.
So here, like when you say that, I just think of like learning curve. Like
so I did a little digging on it just before Michael's live stream. But the thing is like there wasn't a ton of public information. Like that was the public announcement, I think, was when he went live from the factory.
Interesting.
Or from their office, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
But my understanding is you can map out. So let's say all you wanted to do is cups all day, right? And you just wanted to do one-sided cups all day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, instead of project marking them one at a time, or even setting up like for example, the Index X that I have, I can project mark like 8 cups in a row on my index table, and it just progresses one to the next, and I can just load them all at once. This, you're basically doing something similar, but you're loading up the bed and mapping the cups on the bed, and it will work around the curve that you program into it for each of the cups. The thing that I wanted to see was how the programming side of it works out, like how you work that into Lightburn or whatever software they force on you or whatever. I don't know. That hasn't really been discussed as far as I know. But there's a lot of big asterisks, right?
Yeah.
So until there's more info out, I'm kind of reserving my judgment. I'm super excited to hear more about it because obviously that's right up my alley in terms of like batching stuff out and doing cool stuff like that. Like
you love that with like the Index, right?
And that friggin' love efficiency stuff like that.
That stuff works great when there is a low barrier to entry. As far as I think my primary concern with this is like the metrology aspect of it, and like getting things well enough defined in software that it actually produces work in the real world. That's like what I'm concerned about, because it takes, at least from what I've seen in similar devices that have attempted this kind of efficiency, trying to choose my words carefully here because I don't want to sound biased, but it takes a lot of effort and time and skill to be able to dial those things in well enough so that they're actually usable to the end user. We're not talking about some X tool thing here that does magic for, 7 preset devices, or rather does magic for 7 preset, like materials or blanks. But this is like a tool that is for big boys and big girls, and it is hard, so like, what are they going to do to make that not hard? Like, what are they going to do to make you not have to have an engineering degree to use it? Also, Bunny Washer raised a good point. Not sure how it could be Lightburn compatible. It dynamically controls rotary and Z height at the same time. So who knows if those companies are talking. I know nothing about this. This is the first I'm hearing about it. So I don't know, but I would like more information on that too, because that does seem like another roadblock. So yeah, one last comment and then I'll shut up. My final thought is whoever above said wait 6 to 8 months and see what people are saying 6 to 8 months from now. That's probably where I would lean.
I think that was Bunny Washer too.
Yeah, it was that.
My comment would be that this should be the laser for Bronson. Like, we should give Bronson this. Like, just go ahead and grab one of these, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, I know one of the guys from the Lightburn team was on, I think 2/3 of the way through that podcast. They popped in, and apparently they've been working together to kind of get the base function working early on in the development cycle of the machine.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what was discussed. So I don't know what kind of functionality we're going to be looking at with Lightburn or how that's going to work. If it's going to be like a 2-step process, like we're going to have to go to Lightburn and then do another program, or
like a bridge,
like a weird, funky stopping point in between two things.
Well, the good news is they're already talking, and if they're talking now, then it's steps, right?
Michael's here right now. It's Laser Engraving 911 in the chat. Really, really good, super old friend of mine. If you haven't seen this video that we're talking about right now, you can head over to his channel and check it out. Wait until after the show, though. And then head over to Laser Engraving 911 and go watch that video if you want more info on this. Apparently, Michael's the inside man. Laser companies don't like to talk to me anymore because I take too long to write my reviews because I do reviews instead of ads. So, but yeah, to go hit up Michael. He deserves the support, and he's apparently in the know on this topic. That's probably where I'm going to go after the show as well, so we can all give Michael Mullins some love over there at Laser Engraving 911. Just want to shout you out, buddy, because I see you. Whoop, whoop. Maybe we should have Michael on the show in the next week or two. We can ask him about it.
I miss Michael. I haven't talked to him.
I know it's been a minute. He hasn't been on. He hasn't been on in a minute. He's been busy apparently.
He's a busy dude, man.
He was in China for a while.
This is relevant, so I'm going to throw this up too. Ralph Undis says, "Do any of you run a ULS or Epilogue?" I don't. You two don't, right? But I ran an Epilogue for a while when I worked for Michael Mullins at his laser engraving shop. So he actually has, I think he has a couple Epilogue units now. So if you're looking for info specifically about that, Michael's the go-to guy. So definitely hit that up for sure. We tend to stay more in like the open source, like off the shelf kind of hardware configuration area. So when you get into proprietary laser systems, there are definitely better channels out there for that kind of stuff for sure. Sorry, I'm like bouncing back and forth.
Oh, you got good questions tonight. Good conversations coming up from it. And Michael just said they're working very, very closely with Lightburn on a weekly basis, and he can confirm that they actually sent their driver board to Lightburn. So that's cool.
Interesting. Yeah. Yep. That would be cool. I would like to hear more about that. We'll have to keep tabs on it for sure. I still think my official thing is like 6 to 8 months, dude. Wacky shit happens. Software is weird. If Lightburn's working super closely with them, I'm sure they're doing their very best, but even Lightburn has bugs and they tend to smooth things out very well after a couple months too. So but yeah, we'll have to track that as we move forward. And
I feel like too that I agree with you and Bunny Washer, because like the people who are at the forefront of that are going to get the benefit of having, like, Lightburn usually works with people directly, you know, like the users as well as the people who produce the manufacturer. So the cool thing is you kind of get a direct line to people who can help you with that kind of stuff, but you have to be savvy enough to, when they ask you a question, be able to answer it, or it's not helping, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, well, I mean, we experienced that firsthand with, we did abuse those epilogues really bad. I remember, I'm sure you guys remember very well, the production of Lightburn for Galvo in the first place, right? And like just the vast amount of feedback that was available to them, but the very few number of answers that actually helped improve the software. I think there's going to be like a lot of that back and forth going on, especially when there's like new hardware being implemented, right? Even if they have a hardware dedicated team, software takes time and testing and users. So it'll be really interesting, but I don't feel informed enough to keep talking about it. So, because obviously this is new news. Wow. So like I said, I'm sure we'll be talking about it again next week. It'll take a few weeks for the hype to die. So, we will catch back up on that next week. Moving on though, because we have a ton of questions to get through. We're already at halfway point in the show. Tabla Handmade, that's a cool name, Tabla. Is there a good source for the mirrors for Galvo scanner heads? I had my head replaced, yet it seems fairly easy to fix the Y mirror, so I don't have a spare. I don't usually recommend, unless you know something I don't know, Tabla, and you may, because I'm not the end-all, be-all of information on Galvo lasers, but I generally do not recommend people replace the Galvo scan mirrors, mostly because of the fidelity and finesse required to get the adjustment of the mirrors to a home position just right so that it continues to function the way that it should. That said, I've never been brave enough to tear apart a scan head, and I don't think I'm going to in the foreseeable future. So if that's something you're looking for, you're going to want to look for like root manufacturers, not resellers, because resellers don't sell those kind of parts. And if you can find them, probably on like Alibaba or whatever, you may be able to get a per piece price on those. But that's about all the information I could offer you. So just you're gonna have to look for like original equipment manufacturers, not like resellers.
Yeah, my thing is going to be like cost to benefit analysis, like $400 to just replace a head, $500
Oh,
to
it's
replace
less
a
than
head.
that.
That's what I'm saying, like with shipping, if there's tariffs, I'm thinking like top end, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that to me is like an afternoon of a jet. Like it's one good job that would pay that off and just move along, versus like how much material you're going to accidentally burn up if you do something wrong, and then trying to troubleshoot that, taking it apart, putting it back together, the amount of time, your cost that you charge for an hour of time, you know, like I mean, it's one of those things. Could you? And if you've got the time and you want to play with it, that'd be cool to learn. But yeah, I don't know. I think I'm with Alex on that one, and Kyle.
Yeah.
Cheaper.
I would also add to if it's like a Sino Galvo head or something.
Yeah,
they're definitely on Alibaba. You can reach out to them. You can also go to their site and ask them for support, or see if you can mail it back to them for repair and have them do the repair. You would have to pay shipping and probably a fee. But at that point too, like you're going to have to math it out to see if it's worth it. And by the time you ship it back and forth, because you're going to end up paying tariffs going back and forth too. It may not be worth it. Just
yeah. This seems like somebody in the live chat asking me like, hey, should I whip out an RS-232 to USB and plug it into my laser source to diagnose what's wrong with it? And it's like, probably not. You know, like you could, but I wouldn't.
Well, you also need the software to go with it, but
you know what I'm saying.
I know. I would just go with the new head too.
M. DeMarco, hopefully that answer helped. I know we're kind of wishy-washy on that one. Do you guys have a video on pulse width? Yes, mine is 200. I don't think we have an exclusive video related to pulse width. I think there's two good resources that I'll point you to, that I point people to like every week here. One, we have an episode now edited. It is in the edited podcast list called the Laser Exposure Triangle. Super good episode of the podcast. We talk a hell of a lot about not just pulse width, but all of the different settings and how they interact with one another. So I would definitely go watch that. And also, if you're super duper new and you have no idea what we're talking about at all, maybe go check out the Everything You Need to Know About Galvo Lasers playlist. It's a really good kind of like crash course, jump in the pool video to just kind of get familiar with the terms and stuff. But really, I think what you're looking for is the exposure triangle episode. It's not the best because obviously this isn't the greatest format for video, right? We're barely here on video right now, but it does sell the message really well. And I think it's a good educational resource. At some point, I do have to make a video on that. It's been forever since I felt ready to make a video on that. And it's just been constant other things, other obligations, be it, sponsorship stuff or trying to get ready for events or trying to just publish our regular content. So I will add that to the higher up portion of my mental checklist, and we'll see if we can swing back around to that for you soon. But check out the exposure triangle. Dwayne Dickens, Kyle used your business card rotary jig video, and I'm enjoying it. Works great.
Hell yeah. Glad you're enjoying it.
Get through that sentence. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? But I get it. He's talking about the one where the rotary sits straight up, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Sick.
With the rotary fixture plate deal. Yeah. Glad you're enjoying. Knock out some bulk stuffs.
Good shit, Dwayne. Thanks for sharing, bro. And Mike C, what do you guys think about the Gwick welder cutter coming out? Kyle?
This is that like 3-in-1 deal where like you can do laser cleaning, I think, and then You can put it on like the CNC system, and it like cuts, or you can weld with it.
Yeah, it's their answer to
it's like the X tool,
right?
and the answer to the X tool one that they're doing.
Sure.
I think if I'm thinking of the right thing.
Yeah, I've
like
seen
it's like a
video for it. Yeah,
it's like a fab tool.
Yeah, kind of.
My issue with that though is it's from Gwiki Cloud or Gwik Cloud or whatever you want to call them. And if that was my question I asked in chat too, is are they using the cloud software still? Because if they are, nope. That's
like a super industrial machine that you're going to want to be able to use like not in your home. So like if it requires cloud, like are you going to want to set up like a hotspot on your phone to run it?
Yeah.
Wherever the hell you're running that machine.
By the way, it could be that they said no and they've got proprietary software that runs it from the a lot of those machines have software on it that run it from itself, like it's a standalone device. Yeah. So
both of my portable fiber lasers for portable marking just run like
they're using software that runs on Mac and Windows, is what Mike said. So
I don't know. I don't usually like combo machines. You know what I hate? You know what I fucking hate? TVs with VCRs in them. You know what I'm saying?
Totally on point.
That's totally on point, bro. Because if you fuck up the VCR, your TV's broken, and if you fuck up the TV, your VCR is broken. So I've ever since that experience as a kid, I'm like out on combo devices, but some people really like them. So if you do, more power to you. But I skipped for that reason.
To me, this is where Michael did a video. I think he had like a machine that came to him. So Michael from over at Laser Engraving 911 had the cleaner that came. And then there's like those cleaners that are also welders. Like they have the 3-in-1 basically is what they are, or 2-in-1. And you can get the machine. I agree. It's like a Swiss Army knife. It's a lot of things that can do something okay, but maybe not great. So if you can get something that's a little more industrial for like way less of the price and then learn off that, the 3-in-1s I feel like are Yuri said the only 3-in-1 I trust is shampoo, body wash, and conditioner.
What about oil?
Oh my god. What?
3-in-1 oil.
3-in-1 oil, baby.
I don't even know what that is. I know.
Yuri said 7-in-1. Bunny Watcher said 28-in-1. I love chat. You guys are the best.
My big issue with 3-in-1 or 2-in-1 or any combo system is that the downtime between doing one thing to the next. So, for example, if I want to CNC cut out of some sheet steel some pieces and then you switch it over to welding and weld those pieces together, and then I have to CNC something out because I screwed up on welding and I burned a hole through something, right? And I have to switch back, cut something else out again, and then switch back to welding. Like, how much time and frustration does it take to switch back and forth? Because that's a huge barrier, to me at least, where my train of thought is just going to the machine I need and working with it. And if I have to sit there and take half the machine apart, I feel like I've lost half of my momentum.
Oh, bro, you know what I did that, you know what I didn't do with that was the roller rotary that came with the old Ortur machines. And it was the hot dog rollers, but you had to undo bolts in order to move the rollers further apart or closer together. Yeah. I don't even do that, dude. Like, I'm just too fucking lazy to even do that. So I can't imagine like doing any more than that. A live pixel, I'm just gonna keep flying through here. It said nah, 3-in-1 is too runny. It is, except for when you're using it to clean your brass plates. If you haven't tried it, try it.
You gotta mix it with water later.
Yeah. And then Cheryl, Resin Dragon Studio, says, yeah, I feel like the H2D from Bamboo is a good example of that. One goes and it's all ruined. No reason to have a 3D printer, diode laser, Cricut combo. And yeah, I'm on board with that, right? We don't want any more broken fucking VCRs.
I will never combine a 3D printer with a laser, just from the standpoint of I know what some of that stuff can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what kind of a headache it can be to get stuff to stick to a 3D print bed.
Yeah.
Or what kind of maintenance it takes to get that crap out of the enclosure.
Actual question tonight from Joey Williamson.
What a good picture, by the way. Can we just say, like,
I wish I could pose with that
Fucking
confidence.
dope, dude. Just saying.
Joey says, what's a good strategy for pricing? I can't seem to settle on a good price. For example, I have a customer who wants 40 key rings to engrave. I can get a pack of 50 for $21 on Amazon. Any pricing tips? Matt has the all-time best pricing tip, which I will let him share with you now. I've started to use it at my shop, and I taught it to Rhiannon so that she uses that to price customers out too. Matt?
What? Okay.
What are you talking about?
Now I'm glad that you got the coverage. I do. So basically, my thing is a few things. Number one, are you going to charge setup? Because one thing that I have started doing in the past 2 years, because like for the first year and a half, I kind of was just like happy anybody would come, right? You need to do a setup fee for those things, because how many are you running? Do you need to create a jig? How long did it take you to do the artwork? Even if they supply it, you still have to run it through different kinds of software to get it ready. So make sure that you have a setup fee that's kind of just a universal standard. If it's going to be graphic work, have that. And then if you have something that you have to create to do the job quickly enough for them, make sure you charge for that too, right? So that's number one. Number two, shop minimum. Michael from Laser Engraving 911, who we should have definitely on the show. He's always got great answers.
Should have been here today.
Well, he's always mentioned that he has a shop minimum. So if it's like $10 for you, and obviously make it something that's not going to, make, like, you can't say $25 for one. That's crazy.
I'm in Western New York. Mine's $35. It depends on where you live, I think.
So, and then I kind of put the figure in that. So anyways, that's all just shop stuff. So as far as the pricing goes on an item, one of the things that I've always decided is basically whatever the price of the item is. And if I'm doing like 40 of them, I think you said you can get a pack for like 40 or 50. That's where you basically do 400%, right? So it's the price plus 300%. So if it costs $1, then it's $4 per item. And that way you're getting your money's worth. That's like if you're doing bulk. So kind of figure out how long is it going to take you? What's your time for your hourly rate? What's your setup fee going to be, and all that kind of stuff. And you kind of figure it out from there. So I know it's kind of a multi-piece answer, but it could just be one of those things where like I work with a local, I just made this today. I still got to clean it up, but the garden club, right? So they wanted like 50 of these, but they want them made like a handful at a time. And I was like, okay, well, I can do that. I spread the price of the cost out at 50. And I said, when you get 50, I will do it at this price. So I'll honor that as long as we honor 50. And then I charge my setup fee. So I've got some upfront costs covered. And now they're getting those for like $10 a piece, So
yeah, I'm learning a hard lesson about setup fees, which I never really liked charging. I'm not like a setup fee guy. I like a straight price. But man, there have been so many times. There have been so many times, dude, where I've been like, oh yeah, like this guy wants these 7-inch aluminum bars engraved, right? And I'll say, yeah, I'll engrave those bars for $5 a pop, thinking in my head, these are going to take 30 seconds each for the little lines and like the little tiny bits of text, and that's it. And they're all just outlines, right? I'm going to whip through these and I'm going to make a killing at $5 a piece. But then I look at like their engineering sheet, like their blueprint or whatever, and it's like, we need each line to be 0.0 to 5 inches. Yeah. And like you spent so much time on that artwork. And by the time you get it done, there's like, you're like, I can't believe I only charged $5 a piece for these, you know? So I've been trying to really assess when things come in, like how much are they actually requiring me to do before an item even touches the laser bed.
And so here's 2 things that just got said in chat that are exactly on point. So Alive Pixel said, I only have a setup fee if I need a special setup. Makes sense for a lot of people. Then there's also Bunny Washer who said, hey, I'd like my logo on these. Here's my logo for my t-shirt. And it's like it's like the camera that Alex is using on his front facing camera from his computer. And it's held like this right here.
Dude, raise your hand if you've gotten a picture of a screenshot that somebody took on their phone.
Yeah. And by the way, if
I could show more than 2 hands raising, I would.
Well, and the other one, wait, while we're on it, because if I don't say it, my system will kill me.
ADHD
people that supply like embroidered patches as the logo that they want, then
oh yeah.
for you to take and engrave on something, which I send to artists. I never do myself, but it's just like, I'm like, wow, like how do you think this is going to become digital? And luckily there are artists out there I can pay to wave their magic wands, but like, God.
Yeah. Well, and so here's the thing. So this is what I was going to say in regards to that. And a lot of people, by the way, if you're wondering about the 400% thing, just whatever 4 times the cost is, right? So if it's $1, it's $4 or $5. So it could be, whatever you want to do that makes it worth your time and also seems reasonable. If you check on Etsy, there's going to be people who that's the only product they make. They ship it all over the country. They've got free shipping. Who cares? You're right here. It'll be ready for you this week. Come and get it. But this thing right here, like as silly it is, that little hibiscus that looks like crap right now because I haven't cleaned it up. They went back and forth.
You need some 3-in-1 oil.
Oh, I do. And actually, I just bought something too for cleaning up this stuff. I was at Sam's Club and I bought this little, it's like a toothbrush, but for like cleaning car parts and all kinds of stuff. And it's just a little like thing. Dude, it is made cleaning up this kind of crap takes seconds. It's awesome. So anyways, all I'm getting at is take the cost, multiply it by 4, add in a little bit like effort and time for yourself, and you're good. Boom.
Or
long answer short.
If there's an engineering blueprint or measurements I have to follow that necessitate that kind of thing, there's a special fee that gets assessed.
Bronson wants to know what 10-watt UV. I tried to look on the buying guide, got a 504. That's weird, but also probably accurate because I think the buying guide URL has changed to try to get to it from lasereverything.net. Anyway, how are people liking the Omni? That's been out for a while.
I mean, obviously we don't have one between us, but
we don't. But you see all the feedback.
The reception that I'm getting from the LMA and from the community and all the people I talk to, it's been very positive.
Nice.
Over time, I don't know what that's going to look like, obviously, because it hasn't been out long enough for somebody to beat the hell out of it for a year or two. But
yeah, that's good. Comworker is like a company I want to succeed. I want them to do well.
Yeah. In all fairness, I did reach out to them. I did not get a reply.
Yeah,
because I wanted info on it, but no
worries.
In fairness, I didn't reach out to the normal channels. I probably would have had better luck contacting their support, but is what it is.
I'm just reading chat here. You guys are on fire today. One thing that I want to show you guys, which I didn't even we barely even got a chance to do. We're at the end of the show now, but yeah, generally you guys are great and you have tons of questions, but there are Tuesdays where we all kind of just drag our feet in here and we're just here because you guys are expected to be here because you're the audience. We're expected to be here because we're the hosts, and everybody's just like falling asleep. I did prepare a new thing, which we'll have to do next week, and that is new overlays for off-site questions. So if we don't have any questions in chat, right, and you guys are just here to absorb, you're here to sponge it, you can now check out questions from people on the other platforms, which I think is pretty cool. This one's from LMA. X0X asks, working on purchasing my first fiber laser. The plan is to get a 100-watt MOPA M7. What would be the perfect bundle to purchase with the laser? Initially, I'm looking for all the lenses. They just want all lenses, 800-millimeter tower, rotary. What else would be there that as a first-time buyer should be looking for needs or wants lists? So I think this is super cool because now I can grab questions from other places and kind of hoard them like a greedy squirrel, and then we can whip them out when we need them. And I'm super stoked on it, and I think that the artwork looks nice, and I'm really proud of it. So I wanted to show everybody before we ran out of time. That said, do you guys have an opinion on this one?
I mean, so if you're already saying you're going to buy all those things, that's good. Trying to think of what would be useful for a first time.
Well, if you're looking at all the lenses, first off, I'll put a pause on that right there. You realistically probably don't need all the lenses, but I think a good solid 3 is a good starting point. Like a 110 maybe a 200 and then a 300.
Sure.
Once you start filling in more than that, if you get smaller lenses, you're in a much tighter niche. And on 100 watt, you realistically don't need a 50 or 70 millimeter lens, because anything you do with those, you can do with a 110, because you have the power on tap, for the most part. In general. And then a 200 is a nice medium all-rounder. It gives you more workspace. And then you have a 300. And the reason why you would get something in between, like a 110 and a 200, is if you're having an issue with power density, or if you're having an issue with project size, where you need to fit just something a little bit bigger and you need to maintain your power output. So you need a slightly bigger lens. And you'd go from like a 110 to a 140 or a 150.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, you're probably not going to need that unless you have a very, very, very specific project set. So save your money on lenses. Just get 2 or 3. Most people start with a 110 and a 200. If you plan on doing stuff that's big, get a 300 and you'll probably be fine.
I mean, lenses are easy to get too. Like, you can have them in a week. So if you find you do need one for a project or something, you can just pick it up and add it to the collection. The price doesn't vary wildly. You're not like, oh, if I don't buy them right now, I'm going to get a sour deal a year from now. Like, that's never going to happen. They've cost the same amount of money for like the last 5 years, uninterrupted by even the tariffs. You know, regular, just kind of standard run-of-the-mill fiber lenses are still $70 to $80. They've always been that much. They always will be that much. So there's no FOMO driving that. Like, you can just get the lenses when you want them.
I would say the stuff that I didn't think about, but that came in the most handy. I agree 100% with Bunny Washer. He said positioning bars, but also just hardware for your bed. And also, if I could afford the bed that Alex has, what's the one?
That is the
Blackwell
Engineering, ultra high density fixture plate.
Basically, if you guys don't know, all the fixture plates or the breadboards, whatever you want to call them, always come about 25.4 millimeters apart or an inch apart, which is good because basically it's standard, right? But if you can get the ones that have the high density, that means I think they're every half an inch, right? Is what those are.
25 millimeters or 50 millimeters center to center.
There you go. Yeah. So basically, it just gives you a little better positioning, and like you can move things over incrementally, like as you need to. But honestly, these came with my laser, these big old chunky bars, and they're awesome because they're huge. This is like a 6-inch one. And so whenever you're doing like plaques and stuff, like the other day, I put my plaques together ahead of time. And then because they were just like the cheapy particle board with like the nice surface on it, you know, and basically I just put them right underneath there, zip zap. I pushed it up against this, and it's 180 degrees. It's right where it needs to be. And then these little guys, which are these like the milled pieces, like the 90 degrees, the crosses. I mean, just all that kind of stuff. So you can.
There's that nice kit from 713 Maker that we always recommend.
Oh my gosh! And this is the. Here we go. Just the cross, like so. These kind of things. Yeah. So really, really basic stuff, but you. But like if you buy 2 thinking like I won't need 2, buy 3 because you'll need 3. Like, there'll just be a day where you need 3.
If I was gonna just like throw things out to just satisfy this person if they were here right now, I would say like go click on our buying guide series. We have a whole series of videos that we've published over the last 4 years telling you how to spend your money. And many of them would be relevant to you. So I would watch that video. Also, if you want more information about that, the Blackwell Engineering, why am I having a stroke right now? Yeah, fixture plate.
There's also the silent manufacturing as well.
So there's the silent manufacturing one. You have 2 options. Both reviews for those are posted in the gear reviews playlist, and you can watch those too. And I'm mostly just leaving notes for myself so I can transcribe this and do a comment for him when I get on the LMA later. But that's how I'd answer that one. That's pretty solid. Let me now. I have to do. See, this is a nice system, but it's more clicking. There we go, and we'll put this back up. I think that's it, unless we have the last minute question come in. I was going to say too with the. No, maybe not. I don't know.
Oh,
Tablet said vice clamp, and I was like, go get a pan of vice. But
well, Sean
neither
asked
here nor
a
there.
question. Sean,
What's up?
Sean at Go Savvy Designs, a few scrolls up, said, "What are you guys using to clean your metal bottle openers without scratching the metal?" I mean, if you did like a deep engrave, like you did like a deep black engrave on it, I use 3-in-1 oil, and I just use a toothbrush and like leave a nice thin coat on there, basically. That's what's worked for me. And then, I mean, what are you guys doing? I usually put my stuff in plastic baggies, by the way, so when they're delivered. So if I've got metal, you can buy these. I bought these on Amazon. You can get the different sizes that you need. So this is just a little tiny bag, and it's got like a little adhesive strip on the top right there. If you guys can see that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really well.
Literally, you slap the sticker with the magnets on it here for the people. You slide it in, and it fits just right. So then if you do have oil or something like that on something, try not to deliver stuff that's oiled and greased, like the people when they're putting it in their hands, because then it's either going to slip, fall, scratch, whatever. Spend the extra 30 cents and, make them pay for it. Charge 50 cents to get that. It's not a big deal because you can say I can individually wrap them. A little bit more work, but a little nicer presentation, and it stops the scratching of like with delivery. Best advice I got.
When you're engraving stuff in particular that's really sensitive to being scratched, like I don't know, like polished surfaces in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're engraving like a watch back that's been polished or something, you don't want to scrub that per se, because what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up with loose metal, and as it rubs across the polished surface, it's going to create little hairline scratches. So like compressed air is helpful. Poke tape into it and peel the tape away. What's up, Matt?
I was gonna say, I just remembered, like, Alex, so this is not what you want to use. This is terry cloth, right? This is what you use to do like one of these guys or something when you've already done the cleaning and you're just drying it off. What's the napkins that we have on the buying guide?
Those are polyester. 100% polyester napkins.
Yeah, those are really nice too. So once I literally will hit this with a toothbrush and 3-in-1 oil. I put a little coat on there, and then to just get that smooth to kind of absorb it, the polyester things. I don't know where there's one right now.
Microfiber cloths are for things without edges. Polyester rags are for things with edges.
Jewelry polishing wheel.
The things that I'll mention in response to this question, one, if it's brushed, toothbrush, 3-in-1 oil, that all works great. Kyle mentioned briefly polished metals. So if it's polished and I can get away with it, I will literally just blow it off with the data vac or like a compressed air can or whatever. And that's it. Like I touch it as little as humanly possible, because if you breathe on them wrong, they get scratches on them. They're always like that, especially on cheaply plated things. So the gloves, and then blow them off and just like literally have them come pick it up as soon as possible. So they're the ones that are fucking it up, not you. If I absolutely have to clean it, if it is unacceptable to give to the customer without a real cleaning, my trick, and this has worked really well for me for a long time, is I just soak the thing in fucking dish soap and I let the dish soap run off. And the dish soap collects all the little bits and pieces, the little tiny fragments of metal from the engraving process, and it just oozes it down right off the metal. And it takes a while. You have to like sit and wait for like all that to drip off. But by the time the bulk of that dish soap has dripped off of the part, I can then safely run it under water again with gloves on and just very gently rub it clean, and it is good. I don't do anything else after that. I just blow dry it again with the data vac, and I set it aside. You're never scrubbing. I'm never rubbing it with anything. But the dish soap trick has saved me multiple times on polished stuff that I think I would have otherwise destroyed attempting to clean it. So
yeah, and that's if you're. I don't know if this is the kind of stuff you're working with, but I've got these little polished metal like necklaces and stuff, like little cheapy doodad things. But all the stuff he just said would work great for stuff like that.
Also, I'll acknowledge, just because we like Bunny Washer, Bunny says jewelry polishing wheel with compound will take the scratches out. Typically, I'd agree, but that only works for solid metals because I can't count the number of times that I have just buffed plate. Like, just you literally, you're like so careful, and you just like the tiniest little bit, and it's just, and now you've got like a huge buff mark where the like 1 micrometer thin plating has now been buffed away. And I've had to replace items doing that. I did that with a gold-plated cigar holder just like 2 months ago. I just buffed 1 second on this like gold-plated cigar thing, and it took the 1 atom thick layer of fucking gold that made it gold-plated off, and it was destroyed. So I would exercise caution. Yeah, I would exercise caution if you're doing that. Just make sure you know what you're buffing.
Oh,
and
she's got the bottle openers that look like credit cards. Okay,
because that could be a problem. So something you want to keep an eye on.
Yeah. So definitely find what works. And the other thing is too, if like hear all those things, try all those things. Find what works best for you.
Yeah.
I also find, because she's saying hairline scratches, I should probably blow it off. Thanks so much. If you're fixturing these up when you're marking them too, a lot of people like to slide stuff into the corner instead of placing it into the corner. And if you're putting it down against your bed and sliding it after you deep engrave something on that bed, there's a really good chance that you're rubbing metal bits on your bed right into the surface on the bottom too. So touch it against like whatever you're fixturing and then drop it straight down. Try not to slide it if you can help it.
I also, if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, like just look it up on Amazon, I guess, or the buying guide. I get a data vac. They're so awesome. You never have to buy a can of compressed air again. And it's not one of the cheap, flimsy, like Chinese ones. It's like a big boy, like blower, basically. And I just blow. I blow the work area between parts. Matt's dying. It's too late for Matt. It's his bedtime. Blow the work area off between parts.
Blew it.
It helps.
Like a big boy.
Yeah, like a big boy. A big boy blow. That's it. I think that's I think that's the sign. Is really messing them up by using a 1200 grit sandpaper. Yeah, you don't want to get into the manual aspect of
that's too much time.
No, if you have to do that, like you have to change your process. You shouldn't be doing that for sure. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode.
Great questions.
Podcast. We had amazing questions. I'm kind of salty about how good the questions are today. I'm kind of pissed.
And they were all over the place too. They were like manufacturing.
No, I was rushing. I was rushing before the show tonight to like get some of those questions done and like the nice banners. We didn't even need them. I literally had to come up with an excuse to show one. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe no one will be here next week and I'll get to use my cool banners. But
I'm back next Tuesday with good questions, guys.
Oh, fuck you, Kyle. And then, so anyway, thank you guys for being here live. If you were here live tonight, I really appreciate you guys being here. It makes this so much more fun. The three of us could do the show without an internet connection in a dark room, and that would suck. It would be way less entertaining. So the guys and gals that are here live really make the show fun to be a part of and to continue to do. So thank you guys so much. If you really enjoy the show and you want us to keep doing it, you can help support the channel over at masters.lasereverything.net. It is the #1 way to support the channel. We get all the money. They don't take any of the money. They don't take any cut. We don't have to pay that. I mean, we pay them like a yearly fee, but then that's it. So if you want to support us, head over to masters.lasereverything.net to find out how. We've got a ton of bonus goodies over there. More are brewing every day. Make sure if you're looking for more free, awesome resources to go hit up the brand new db.lasereverything.net. D as in dog, B as in boy, db.lasereverything.net. I have a bunch of new stuff over there that I've been working on, and I'm really proud of it. Things like the laser source database. The project database is back up with all the files you guys have been looking for. I see you in the YouTube comments looking for files. They're all back up over there. There's a brand new file explorer The community parameter libraries are back up and free and accessible to everybody. So there's a ton of great stuff over there in a new, easy to digest way. We can talk more about that next week. And I don't know, shout out to Kyle, who's got infinitely repeatable vector patterns for sale on Etsy. Go check out Kyle's shop on Etsy. It's Kyle's Laser Stuff. And we'll make sure that there's a link down in the description for that. Matt, do you have anything to plug? I usually plug Anthony here, but he's gone and you're here. So
I'm just here hanging out.
Matt's just here. Matt's just donating his time. So make sure you give some money to his GoFundMe to help him buy a new
Where's that
house for his daughter, who now sleeps in the backyard because she's gotten too crazy to live inside.
Dude, that's facts.
I'm supposed to agree to that. All right. Before you leave, smash the like button. Thanks, Cheryl. Please do that. After the show, leave a comment. Let us know how you like the new scenery or whatever. I don't know. Tell me what your favorite type of dog is. I don't really care. Thank you, guys. That's all I got. I don't know. I'm fucking tired too, dude. Let's go to bed.
You guys have a great week. Big boy blowing.
Bigfoot tomorrow. Come for the Bigfoot.
Get out there and have some happy little accidents in the shop.
Come for the Bigfoot. Stay for the big blow.